Hi, well, you've made it two-thirds of the way through our Connecticut's Changing Landscape story map, and we hope that you found it interesting looking at the map, zooming in and out, and learning something about what's going on our landscape. But this page has been declared a map-free zone and a text-light zone, and what we'd like to do is have a very quick summary of the daily landscape change that we were showing you before. To do that, let's first talk about our unit of area. Most of us are very familiar with an acre. We think we know what it is, a modest house in the suburbs. If we take 1/3 acres, that's about the size of a football field. So that's the area we're going to use for our little summary here of daily landscape change. We look at winners to the right and losers to the left of our four main land cover categories. We can see that forest losing about 10 football fields per day and about 3 1/3 of agricultural fields, and those are balanced mostly out by the big winners, about 8 football fields of development and 3 1/3 of turf. And remember, this is daily landscape change. Well, we've talked a lot so far about how much, a little bit about when, and a lot about where, but you might be thinking, so what? So we don't have all the answers, but we do have 4 more analytical maps that not only look at our data in just base terms, but do some analysis to them to tell us something about some important areas in Connecticut's landscape. First one's core forests, so simply forests that's surrounded by other forests, because we know those interior areas have great habitat and environmental value. Also, our rivers and streams and the areas next to them, called streamside corridors or riparian corridors, known to have a lot of environmental value and pollutant removal value, and we're going to look at our 4 land covers right along those areas and see what's going on there. Not all soils are created the same, and we have a fairly limited amount of good agricultural soils in Connecticut. It turns out, though, that those soils are also very good for growing crops of houses, so we're going to look at the land cover change on top of our agricultural soils. And lastly, we're going to look at watersheds. A watershed is simply an area that drains to a common point, and there are watersheds of different sizes. We're going to look at some local watersheds and look at the amount of man-made impervious cover or hard surfaces like roadways, rooftops, and parking lots that are in those watersheds, because the greater the amount of those that you have, the less healthy your watershed tends to be based on research. So we hope you enjoy exploring the rest of Connecticut's changing landscape.